Lucie, you got this. What's up, my beauties? It's Lucie here, and on today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you the do's and don'ts from my own personal experience to be able to manifest the one, your perfect match, your soulmate into your life. So I've actually just taken some notes. I've written down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a bonus 6 things I think it's important that you know. First of all, we're going to be looking at what is the one, that perfect person in your life, like so that you can get really clear on what your perfect partner looks like. Number 2, then we're going to touch briefly on the subject of how to manifest your ex back. If that is something that a lot of you are feeling at the moment, maybe that's why you clicked on this video, we're going to explore if that's actually a good thing for you. Number 3, then we're going to be looking at if you're in a situation where you really fancy someone but they don't fancy you back. So they're technically in your life, but you want them to feel the same way about you as that you do about them. The next subject we're going to look at is relationships in general, okay? If you're in a relationship now with somebody who's not the one, the purpose of that in your journey, the importance of that in your journey, we're going to explore that. Then, as I'm sure you're aware, a lot of this is to do with how you feel about yourself. So we're going to be looking at what changes you can make to solidify your belief that you are deserving of the perfect partner for you. And finally, a little bonus tip, I'm going to share with you what not to do when you are in a great relationship. From my own experience of being with my soulmate for the last 6 years now, and how we have grown together as a couple. So first of all, we're going to start off with what is the one? Like, what are they like? Your person, your dream other half. No, hang on, let me rephrase that. Whoa, I do not like that language. Other half implies that you are incomplete. Other half implies that two halves have to make a whole. You are whole. They are whole. Two wholes, as one of my mentors describes, two halves make 0. Two wholes make infinity, right? So I just wanted to stop myself there and correct my language. So what does that dream ideal partner look like to you? Not just physical appearance, but all of their attributes. In fact, what I'd like you to do is take a moment, maybe pause this video if you need to, get your journal out and write down, be greedy, okay? Be demanding, be specific. There's no compromising going on here. This is hypothetical, first of all, but eventually this is going to become your reality. So, without any compromisation, what do they look like? What color hair do they have? What color eyes do they have? What personality do they have? How are they with you? What little things do they do that just set butterflies running through your tummy? What are their passions? What are their attributes? How are they with your family? All of these things count. How good are they at listening? How good are they at supporting, at believing in you, at romancing you, sweeping you off your feet? What languages do they speak? What are their passions? Why not get super duper specific about what the one is to you? Okay, because what I thought was important is to start with the end in mind. Sometimes maybe you've clicked on this video because you weren't actually thinking about your ideal perfect person, and actually what you were thinking when you clicked on this video is that there's someone in your life right now who you kind of fancy, or maybe you're absolutely in love, madly infatuated with them, and it's currently unrequited love. So you clicked on this video to find out how you can manifest them to be in your reality. Okay, we're gonna talk about that in this video, so just stay with me. But please entertain me, go along with the process, and forget about them just for one moment. And I want you to draw out that list of perfect attributes for your perfect partner. Okay, fantastic. I hope you had fun with that exercise. If you haven't done it, pause and do the exercise. This is part of the process. Trust the process. Okay? Now, we're just going to park that there. Okay? You've got your dream guy, or girl, or person in mind. Just park that there. You've created that now. It's already on its way, manifesting, okay? Now we're going to touch briefly on the subject of how to manifest your ex back. Because like I said, I'm sure there's a lot of people who clicked on this video actually to be able to manifest someone who is from their past to get back together with them, okay? Now, obviously, first off, I've got to say every situation is different, okay? So bear that in mind. But I want to ask you a very simple question. I asked one of my, I had a coaching call with a girl recently, and she was asking me how to manifest a specific person back into her life. I asked her this question: what is that person like? Like, what is their energy like? Okay, are they pure positive energy? Are they nothing but unconditional love and light? Or are they also negative? Are they actually quite negative? Like, let's take away the rose-tinted glasses for a second, because sometimes love can blind us. But I want you to really just, with me now in this safe space, it's okay to think these honest truth things about an ex, okay? Are they insecure? Are they actually a bit arrogant? When you were together, did you wish that they were better or different in certain ways? Did you wish that they cared about you more? Did you wish that they didn't look at other people in that way? Did you wish that they listened to you? Did you wish that they didn't laugh at you? All of these little things, okay, about your ex, I want you to bring them to the forefront now and think about them, okay? Now, this is why I'm asking you, what is their energy like? Because, check it out. With the law of attraction in mind, you don't attract what you want, you attract what you are. Exactly. So if you attract what you are, then it means that at the point in your life at which you attracted that person, you were pretty much on a similar vibrational frequency to them. Now, maybe some of you are thinking, well, I'm not arrogant and I like to listen, and in fact, all I do is care, and they weren't really ever paying attention to me. What I mean is, it's not about you having the identical attributes, but I mean you were a perfect fit for each other at that point in your journey, because they needed someone who was willing to be walked over, and you were willing to be walked over by that someone, as an example, okay? Obviously, fit this into your own case scenario. If you are no longer with your ex, they're your ex. If you're no longer with them, it's because you're no longer on the same vibrational frequency as that person, okay? And this is a very common thing that causes people to break up, is because we're all on our different growth journeys, okay? I don't know why I'm doing these like, yo, dude, hands, but this is you, this is them, right? So maybe you were at the same level when you met, and then we're all on our own growth journeys, right? Whether that be a conscious thing where you're watching personal development videos and practicing things to become a better version of yourself, or even if you're not consciously aware of your growth journey, stuff happens, challenges come along, you either grow stronger from it or you grow weaker from it, or, you know, there's all ups and downs, right? So depending on your life experiences, maybe you raised your vibration, you became a better version of you, and maybe they did not, and therefore there was a clash and you're no longer in alignment, and then before you know it, there's no way you can be together anymore. Maybe it was the other way. Maybe they've done a lot of growing, a lot of healing, a lot of realizing stuff, and maybe at this present moment you haven't been growing at the same rate. It's not to say you never will, but there's something out of alignment which is causing you to now no longer be together. So with that in mind, if they are actually at a vibrational place that you were, and you've moved on from that in your own personal journey, you've grown stronger, you've decided, you know what, I don't want to be treated like that. I actually know now that I deserve to be listened to, absolutely adored, ravished romantically. Like, I know that I deserve those things now, whereas I didn't know that before. Then naturally, things are going to separate. You're going to separate from your ex. And if you want to manifest your ex back, that means you must then end up on the same frequency as them once more. And if that means you're going to have to lower your frequency and retreat and take steps backwards on your growth journey, then I'm not going to be telling you whether you should do that or whether you shouldn't do that. But I want to ask you that serious question. Do you want to? Do you want to potentially lower your standards, evolve backwards in the wrong direction, just so that you can be a vibrational match with that person once more? Now, if I can just share my own personal opinion, the idea of not growing and not evolving and not becoming better and not having a better and better and better and better life experience, the idea of that is so unappealing to me. Okay? So if this is resonating with you and you're like, whoa, thanks for the realization, Luce. You're right. And as much as it's painful to maybe look forwards at the future reality that doesn't include that person, let me just tell you, hang in there. You got this, okay? It's like any addiction. If you're trying to give up smoking, then taking the cigarettes away without filling that hole that the cigarettes was fulfilling for you can be a painful and difficult experience, which results in the smoker continuously going back to the cigarettes because they can get that fix quickly and easily again. So when you're looking back towards manifesting an ex, it's kind of similar to looking towards having another cigarette for that quick fix. Whereas the same method should be applied to both things, which is that in order to overcome any kind of addiction, you need to look at that hole. Don't look at the thing that you were addicted to fill the hole. Look at the hole. Look at what was missing. Look at what you need to fill with something positive, what you get to fill with something positive. Changing my language once again. When we say I need to, it makes it sound so like onerous. Whereas if you say, oh, I get to do this, I get to grow, I get to fill my own cup up, I get to love myself more, I get to focus on the fact that all I need is me and I get to complete myself, I get to work on that, I get to do stuff every day to work on feeling like I'm beautiful and believing that I'm capable and believing that I'm deserving of an amazing, amazing partner. Okay? The next topic on the agenda is how to get someone who doesn't fancy you to fancy you back because you fancy them and you want them to fancy you. First up, this is the cold hard truth. Sometimes we think it's all about our physical appearance. Like I often used to think when I fancied someone at school or whatever and they didn't fancy me back, I used to just think that it meant it must have been because I wasn't beautiful enough. And if that's a thought that's coming into your mind, I just want to let you know that actually attraction is so much more than physical. I mean, go ahead. If you want to become the best version of yourself and become even more hot than you already are, I encourage you to, because you should be doing that for yourself, not for anybody else, because you respect who you are and you want to show up in this lifetime being the best version of you that you can. I believe that is, why not? Why not be your best? Why not look your best? But please do not think that if somebody doesn't fancy you, it's because you're not beautiful enough, okay? The way that attraction works is very complex, and it's more actually to do with your energy and their energy, what frequency you're on and what frequency they're on. And even if they're not aware of any of this stuff, that's how it works, okay? So if you're attracted to them, that means that there's something in their vibrational frequency that is attracting you at this moment. If they're not fancying you, then there's something in your frequency that they're not looking for in their life. Okay, we're always attracted to things that are going to enrich our lives, lift our lives up, fill a gap that we feel is missing and that they should fill, which, by the way, don't do that. But that is just the way that a lot of people operate when it comes to everything. Buying 12 new handbags to fill a void. It's not going to fill it, but it's why people overspend. It's why people run away on holiday. It's why people have another baby sometimes. It's why people do a lot of things. I know it can be a bit upsetting to think that who you are and the energy and the vibrational frequency that you're at is not attractive to that other person. If that person, and again, I know this is sometimes a difficult question to answer when you are in the blind stupor of love and Cupid has hypnotized you. Take a look at that person, like their habits. What do they do that you like? And what stuff actually do they do where you're not a huge fan of it or of their behavior, but you've kind of been ignoring those elements of them because you just want to fancy them even more, okay? Jay Shetty posted something on his Instagram recently. It was a fantastic quote. He said, "Don't confuse chemistry with compatibility." So what that means is you may feel chemistry towards someone. You may feel that physical lust. You may feel attracted to them. They may make you laugh and it might light you up or whatever. And you think, oh my God, could they be the one? Imagine if we were together. But how compatible actually are you and them? Do they have, and be selfish, okay? Do they have a lot of baggage and issues? I know sometimes we feel like, let's help everyone and let's, nurse them and mother them and nurture them. It can be a thing that a lot of women do, let's save this person, right? But just bear in mind that if you commit to saving that person, you're also committing the majority of your life experience to be spent with someone who's at a lower vibrational frequency to you. That's actually what you're choosing. You're choosing to lower your standards and to pull yourself down because it's inevitable. If someone is at a lower frequency to you, you will be pulled down because that is just the effect of negative energy. Unless your positive energy is so strong, so powerful that you can walk into any room and never get affected by negative people. It's possible, but if you're not there yet, I don't recommend you spending time with or choosing a partner who has got a lot of baggage, who's got a lot of problems, who's got a lot of negative energy. Some of you might be thinking I'm being heartless, but hey, guess what? If you want to help anyone, you got to help yourself first, and putting yourself in that position is not helping yourself first. If, on the other hand, that person who you're madly in love with, who doesn't quite fancy you back at the moment, is literally everything that you aspire to be, right? They're successful in all areas of their life. They are more positive than you currently are. They, genuinely, they're not just faking it to cover insecurities. They're genuinely a pure, unconditional, loving, epic, enlightened person, which, to be honest, is the goal. Then that's a positive influence in your life. And if you can use that crush that you have on that person to motivate yourself to raise your game, then actually they're serving a fantastic purpose in your life. Just be careful not to dwell too much on how fantastic they are and how rubbish you feel that you are, okay? Be careful of that area. As long as you can look at that person and go, right, I feel motivated to become the best version of myself. They are so organized and disciplined, and they don't procrastinate, and they listen to people, and they share love, but they also know when to say no if it's not something if that's them, then let that inspire you to show up in that way for yourself. Because guess what? When you're that kind of person, they're going to look at you and be like, their eyes are going to go, oh God. There's always two sides to all of this information I'm giving you, because it depends on where you're at and where that other person is at in their journey. So I hope this is helping you and covering all bases as I go. Next, we're going to talk about relationships in general. Have you been in a relationship already? If you look back at all of your previous relationships, okay, what you will find, if you choose to look at them this way, is that every single relationship was perfect in terms of it was the right relationship for you at that point in your journey. Now, I want you to think about it this way, okay? Why? Everyone wants to just win the lottery and get rich quick, right? In the same way, everyone wants to just win the lottery and find their perfect Prince Charming or Princess Charming now with the first relationship that you ever have, right? But where's the fun? Where's the growth? Where's the And where would be the appreciation when you actually find that perfect partner for yourself, okay? Every failed relationship that you've had has taught you what you do want in future relationships, what you don't want in future relationships. And if we're really honest with ourselves, those previous failed relationships are also a fantastic way for you to be able to shine a light on who you were at that point in your journey, or what aspects of yourself you would like to move away from, or move on from, or upgrade from, okay? So honestly, every single relationship that I had before meeting Jamie, I look back at all of those relationships with fondness and appreciation. Not because they were perfect, but because I can look back and go, 19-year-old Lucie, like, that was what she felt she deserved, and that was what she was looking for at that point, and that was how she felt about herself at that point. And that's why she, manifested a partner who was very similar in those ways. And then I look back even previously, my previous relationship when I was 16, 17, when I got in that relationship, which was, again, a totally different relationship. But, that's what she was looking for. And that's how she felt, and she didn't want it to be too romantic, and because she was a bit scared of all of that side of things. And if there was insecurities, there were insecurities within both parties. Do you know what I mean? So like, every relationship was a reflection of where I was at my point in that journey, and also has taught me, okay, that's great, but this is what I want and this is what I don't want. Next relationship, okay, that's great, but this is what I do want and this is what I don't want. So if you're in a relationship, or if you enter a new relationship after watching this video with somebody who does not fit the full description that you wrote at the beginning of this video, that's okay, all right? It's okay to be in a relationship with someone who is imperfect, and knowing that maybe that's going to be a great relationship to be in for the next year or two. And if they're not your soulmate, just know that maybe in the next relationship, or the next one after that, or the next one after that, that you'll be like clarifying, chipping away, growing, evolving, clarifying, chipping away, growing and evolving. And then bingo, then you'll be at a place where you're like, wow, there's literally nothing I would change, nothing I'd want to change. I just feel happy every day with this person. That's kind of the bottom line. So this brings me nicely onto my next point, because maybe some of you listening right now might be thinking, that sounds great, but what if I never find someone perfect? Or, but what if I never become a good enough person to be able to attract the one? Yeah, okay, cool, I get that. I have my doubts about other aspects of my life as well. We all have those insecurities, we all have those fears of what if it will never happen. Please start trusting that you will get your perfect, sweet-lipped sugar honey that is on your piece of paper right now, okay? Let me tell you a cute little story. When I was 8 years old, playing in the garden of this house, by the way, I'm gonna do another video on the fact that when I was 8 years old, I manifested living in this house when I was an adult. When I was 8 years old, playing in that garden out there, I remember that through the gaps in the fence, I could see this Portuguese boy who was maybe about 10. I was 8 and he was 10, and he was just that little bit taller than me. I was in love, okay? His name was Gerson. Portuguese people, help me out. Is that a real name? Is that a Portuguese name? I think he told me I could call him Jason, but I wanted to get it right, So he was like, he was beautiful. He was tanned. He had curly hair. He had this Latino vibe. He was funny. He was cool. He could blow bubbles he would put washing up liquid in his mouth and blow bubbles. I mean, every girl's dream, right? It was when I was 8. I was like, you're so cool. So anyway, I was very in love with him and heartbroken that we never actually got to meet on the same side of the fence. There was always a fence between us. I remember then hanging out with some girls at school when we were like 8, 9, 10, and we were talking about like, what's your type? Like, what's your type? What kind of guy do you fancy or whatever, you know? And some girls would say, oh, blonde, blue eyes. Some would say whatever. And I thought from that moment onwards, my type is tall, dark, handsome. I know it's cliche, but like specifically curly haired, Latino, cool, like confident, you know, a nice person who treats me with respect and doesn't laugh at me, because Jason laughed at me a little bit and I was like, no, I don't want that. But so it helped me to form my ideal person in my mind. And isn't it interesting that now, all of these years later, my fiance is tall, dark, handsome, has curly hair. He is technically Latino. His mum is from South America, but so he speaks fluent Spanish, which, let's face it, girls, it's hot. But at the same time, he speaks fluent English because he was born in the UK. So it's kind of like the best of both. And he's confident and funny and impressive. You know, he wows me. And at the same time, he would never, ever laugh at me. He would never, ever disrespect me. He treats me like a queen. He empowers me. He supports me. He believes in me even when I don't believe in myself. He loves me even when I don't love myself. Like, he is perfect for me. So this was my thought process, right? I knew what my type was when I was 8 years old, and I knew that I would get that one day. And every relationship that I had before Jamie was a great, nice relationship. It had its ups, it had its downs, it had its pros, it had its cons. But because they didn't fit what I knew was my absolute dream person, then I just always knew that they were a great relationship for now, but they weren't going to be the eventual outcome. So hold truth to that person that you want to manifest, because as long as it's somewhere in the back of your mind that you know that that's what you're eventually going to end up being with, and that's what you deserve and it's on its way, then any person who's not at that level now, you can be okay with that. That brings me on to my final point, the bonus tip. Do not try to change someone, to shape them, to mold them, to change them into being the person that you want them to be. Do not do that, okay? It's gonna be a slower, more painful, and potentially more impossible process to take someone who's not who you want them to be and wish and hope and force and nag and change them to being someone that you want them to be. Okay, it's actually a much faster process to just accept them as they are. If they're bringing you happiness and love at this point in your life, great. If they're not, have the strength and the confidence to break up with that person with love, to move on, to know that they're not the right fit for you. And to also know that in the interim stage, when you are single and ready to mingle, that's going to be a great fun, really fun part of your life. And that sure, there may be days that are lonely, but in those days of loneliness, that just enables you to build up a better relationship with yourself. In those days of loneliness, those nights of loneliness, those are opportunities not for you to be longing to be with someone, but for you to be working on being happy with yourself, to becoming your own best friend. I'm an only child, so the pros and cons to that is you can be quite lonely, but it also gave me lots of practice to becoming my own best friend. And maybe that is the kind of final top tip, is become your own best friend. Then everybody else who comes into your life is a freaking bonus, but they're a bonus. They're just a nice addition to the completeness, the wonderfulness, the everythingness that is you as you are on your own as this complete, perfect spiritual being that came down to earth as a complete person. You did not come down from the spiritual realms as half of a person. You came down as a complete, powerful being. This idea that you are now feeling like something's missing and then looking externally for somebody else to fill that hole is preposterous. Okay? So I hope this video brought you tons of value. If there's any more questions that have come up, make sure to comment them below, because I have a feeling there's going to be plenty of spin-off videos after this one. Make sure to definitely give this a thumbs up if you got any value from this, and to subscribe and hit the bell button so that you continue to see my videos. Otherwise, you may never see me ever again. Thanks again for watching, guys. Love you so much. Mwah. And until you find the one, just keep on loving yourself.